trick. It's gonna be called intuition, right? This deck of cards, it's a normal deck of cards, all face up, and all the other cards before, I want to tell you, they're all red cards, except for one card, which is a blue card. Okay? What you're gonna do for this first part of the game is figure out what that blue card is. These other cards that are you don't know what that blue card is. I want to
But he needs to be
okay, so let's see. Hold on your head. I'm going to give you 6 of cards. Before you take a look at it, I'm going to show you how to get entire holding the line. Go ahead and take a look at that. Sure enough, you found the only blue card. But I want to show you, this is the queen of blue cards. This is going to be the queen card of the new or the old deck. I'll show you what I mean later. Basically, I'm going to take the 6 blue cards, which is the only blue card, and put it in front of that blue card. The queen of clubs is a red back card. So if you see a red back queen of clubs on top of the blue card, then you know it's a card, right?
I'm still 17.
So now, since it's in front of the queen of clubs, I'm going to go ahead and cut this back a few times. After I cut the deck, I'm going to test for rotation. I'm going to rip the top of that. I want you to tell me when to stop. So if you're still trying to find the clubs, stop! Right here. And if the second one, I'm going to
That girl just
queen of clubs. Sweet child, because you have a red flag, here's a blue card. That's how you know it's a card. The thing is, as a magician, I can control the card wherever I want. So with the snap just like that, I can make a card of any time. That's just a card. The problem was the card had a blue back, right? This card has a red back. So I can fix that. So you have a lot of your money again. So I'm going to give you this card again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that card I told you about. Queen of clubs to make a card of blue back. So after I snap, it's supposed to be in the clubs. And with the red queen of clubs, that rubber comes to run for that.
sweet child of Dixie.
You don't need to rate it anymore.
For it to be different, is since it has a green, that queen of clubs, the entire deck had to be a blue deck. Just like that. But the thing is, the good thing you didn't have the queen of clubs. If you took out the queen of clubs and put it on top of this deck, then the problem would be the entire deck turns into the queen of clubs. So it's a good thing you didn't pick the queen of clubs, because that wouldn't be very practical for a magic trick. You kind of need a deck that has all normal cards in it. All normal cards and all the backs, except for your one blue 6 of clubs. Go ahead and take your 6 of clubs. Except for that.
Wow!
One blue, it's all red.
No way! I'm hiring.
Hey guys, so this is a really cool deck that I bought at Ash's Magic Shop in Chicago. I don't really know what it's called. I think it's a variation of a Svengali deck and some color changing deck. It's pretty cool because, so if you riffle down, it's all red, but if you do a different kind of riffle like this, all the cards become blue. The entire deck is normal, but then if you give it a waterfall like that, all the cards become the queen of clubs, and you can do a really cool routines with this deck. And the way this deck works is that there's a blue normal card and a red queen of clubs, and that just goes through the entire way. Yeah, I guess you could kind of make it, I guess, the same way you make invisible decks. I used the mate finish. When they first gave me the deck, the cards didn't really stick well. They kept slipping, and they kept seeing the queen of clubs over and over again. Or when you were trying to show them that the entire deck is red, the cards will keep slipping and they'll keep flashing the blue. But yeah, you could kind of make your own deck by saving up one particular card. Every time, I know a lot of magicians, they accumulate a lot of decks, so just pick out one card, maybe like near the end of its use, just toss it aside, and when you have however many cards you need, I think about 26 other one card. You can even use 25. It doesn't have to be a full deck. 25 of the same cards, then you're ready to make the deck. Oh yeah, but they all have to be the same color, of course, because all these red cards, they're Queen of Clubs. And like I did for my invisible deck, I used the mate finish to make the deck kind of stick better. Now it doesn't really stick, but what I did was there's a coating of that mate finish on the back of this, so it makes it roughen, and there's also a coating on the front of these faces, so that it's roughened and they stick together perfectly well. Just a tiny bit of downward force, and you can spread through the cards really easily. Okay, so this is what the routine looks like. Well, actually, first, I think what they did was they cut the queen a little shorter, so whenever you cut the cards like that, it would always show the red card. But I've tried it with other decks, and you can kind of work around that. It doesn't have to be cut. You just have to be a little more careful with the kind of cuts and shuffles you use. So yeah, so this is the trick that I like to do. First, I pull this deck out, and then I say, okay, well, this deck is an entirely red deck, except there's one different card, which happens to be a blue card, okay? I'm not going to show you the blue card, but what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you try and find that blue card, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and cut the cards, and yes, I'm just giving the cards a cut. I mean, all these cards are blue, but I'm just making the spectator think that there is only one blue card in this. Oh yeah, see, sometimes it comes off like that. See, so don't do what I just did and make too many cuts. Just do 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or so, or maybe 3 or 4, just to really convince them that you have no idea. And just flip over the face of the cards and just go, okay, now as I go through these cards, I want you to name one card that you think is going to be the blue card, the one different card from this entire deck, okay? So as I'm spreading through the cards, they say maybe the 2 of diamonds. So I'm like, okay, the 2 of diamonds. So what you do is you just take the top half right at the break, put it all on the bottom, and if you try and pull this off, it's going to be 2 cards, the Queen of Clubs and the 2 of diamonds. So instead, you kind of just do a little risk. I mean, you don't have to do a risk hill, but you want to push off the cards like you do with the invisible deck. Push off with your thumb, hold the other card with your 2 fingers, and I don't like to show them the card. I just put it down on the table there, put it down, place it in their hands, and I say, okay, well, you chose the 2 of diamonds. Are you sure you want this 2 of diamonds? And when they say, yeah, you're okay, well, let's take a look at the backs of all the decks. You could fan the cards if you know how to do that, or you just show them the backs of all the cards and go like, yeah, you were right. Well, you see how all these cards are red? So that must mean that you did select the only blue card in the entire deck. Good job. You picked the 2 of diamonds. And they're like, okay, so that's pretty cool, but it's not like a wow thing. So instead, the second part of the trick is you tell them to remember the Queen of Clubs. And what I like to do is, right now I have a pinky break beneath that Queen of Clubs. That'll be for later. And what you do is, as you're holding the cards, you just kind of pull down on that bottom card with your pinky, and it's not too hard, I guess. If you want to practice it, you want to kind of you just slant the cards a little bit so that as you practice, but as you get accustomed to it, you don't really have to. You're just going to get used to pulling that one card down. And so right now, I have my pinky break right here, and I go, okay, well, I want you to remember this Queen of Clubs, okay? This is going to be the key card of this trick, and usually I throw in a key card of this deck, but they don't know what I'm talking about. It all makes sense later. So I say that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm saying that because I'm gonna place your 2 of diamonds, which is the only blue back card in this deck. You really want to emphasize that it's the only blue back card in this deck, or that it's different. Right in front of the Queen of Clubs, which is a red Queen of Clubs, and you know that because I showed you all the Queen of Clubs are red. Yeah, so right in front of that Queen of Clubs, so that the way you'll know that you stopped at your 2 of diamonds is if you either find this Queen of Clubs and or we see that blue back. So that's two ways. So now they're remembering their 2 of diamonds with the blue back and the queen of clubs with the red back. Okay, so right now after I put that in, I have now a pinky break between both of those cards, because I had a pinky break between the queen of clubs at the very beginning, and I do an undercut to get that card up to the top, or double undercut. And basically what you do is you take your pinky break, transfer it into a thumb break. So now the cards, you're holding onto it like that, both of these bottom cards. And what you do is you swing cut the first one, the first part, just put that right underneath, and then with your thumb just hold on to all these cards and kind of just let go of those those 2 cards right there, and then just swing cut the rest of the top. And then you could even do like some fake cuts like that. That's a really easy one. You swing cut once, swing cut it again, and then just drop, drop, drop. And that's really simple, really fast. When you get used to it, yeah, you don't want to flash blue cards like that. But once again, don't overdo it. What you can do is some fancy ones, if you know, whatever. So yeah, now their card is controlled to the top with that queen of clubs, but they don't know that. But this time I want to once again test their intuition, or that's how I present it in my trick. And I say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and riffle down the cards. Okay, well, you don't show the blue, but I'm going to go ahead and riffle down the cards. I want you to tell me when to stop, okay? So, and we're trying to look for your card, either your blue back card or that queen of clubs, which will show us that your card is right underneath, okay? So I start riffling down the cards, and they say stop. Let's say right here, and then you lift up the cards and you go ahead and push off. Okay, what card did you cut at? And then you know it's the queen of clubs. But you know they'll be like amazed because they found the only queen of clubs, because they don't know there's a lot of queen of clubs in here. Now this isn't the card. So the way you handle this is, after you do this, you don't want to push off in their view. So you do like you lift up the deck like this and just go ahead and push off. Yeah, so go ahead and push off the card and go like, okay, well, what card is this? Queen of clubs? Okay, well, it's awesome that you found the queen of clubs, because see, your blue card is still right under there. But then what I say is, as a magician, I can also control the cards to wherever I want, whatever color I want. So if I snap my fingers, this top card becomes the 2 of diamonds. And the way I did that is, it makes it really easy because these cards have friction between them, so they want to stay together. But yeah, you just push off the top card and they'll come together as 2. You don't need too much practice on that, but you just want to get a feel for it so you never screw up. So after you push the cards, you just flip do a double lift, flip with the cards, flip over the cards as 1. Say 2 of diamonds, go like, and show that it's the 2 of diamonds. But then of course the problem is that it's a red card now, and then say, okay, well, now your card isn't that different, right? But I can make it different again. So what I do is you do a wrist kill, and you do that push off. You push off the card and you put it down onto the table, and they think this is their card, but their card is actually on the top and is the blue 2 of diamonds. So once again, as you're talking, you say, okay, so if it's a problem, that's the 2 of diamonds, right? Well, I can fix this, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put that card down, or you can put it give it to someone, like put it in someone's hands, but you don't want them to flip it over yet. Yeah, I usually, if there's a table, I just put it on the table. Make sure you don't flash this card. The problem is, for the people looking at it on the right, it's kind of easy, so just kind of work out your angles. So here it is again. You push off, say, okay, 2 of diamonds, but it's a red back. I'm going to go ahead and put that card on the table. And remember that key card I told you to remember? Well, remember I also told you that it's the key card of the deck, and it can help me with this problem, okay? So if I snap my fingers, the key card is summoned back up, which is the queen of clubs, and right there they'll be kind of amazed. But the second part, what you do is you take the queen of clubs, or what I do is take the queen of clubs and go ahead and just like kind of cover the deck, but as you're turning around, you want it to look like you're painting over the 2 of diamonds. The 2 of diamonds, and you're making that into a blue card when it actually was already a blue card. So that's the problem with having spectators on your right side, but for anyone in front of you and to your left, or if you kind of watch your angles, this will be amazing. So you say, okay, 2 of diamonds, put it down on the table, key card, and then take it, go ahead and rub it across the top, just like that, and it becomes a blue card. And you want to time it so right here it blocks off your thumb and everything. It blocks off that this is the blue card, but at the same time it's not making it so obvious that like you're just hesitant to show your deck. But you take it, you say, I'm gonna rub it across the top, just like that, and your card becomes blue again. And they'll be pretty amazed. But the second part of the trick is even more amazing, or the third part of the trick I should say is more amazing. Now you say, okay, so I've been testing your intuition this entire trick. What if in the beginning you thought that the queen of clubs was the only different card in this deck? If you thought it was blue or something or whatever, you make up some excuse. I usually say, what if you picked the queen of clubs in the beginning of this deck? Well, then, like I said, the cards would all be different. And the way this deck works is if you riffle down the top like this, all the cards are shown to be blue. But the thing is, if you do that, because of that invisible deck property, all the cards are shown to be queens also. But you don't want to show them that they're all you made them all into queens yet. So I just like to hold it right here and just say, okay, well, all the cards would have been blue. And right there they'll be like, oh crap, that's amazing. And then the second part of this trick, or the more amazing part of this trick, is you take the card which you've been calling the key card this entire time, and saying, well, good thing you didn't pick this card, because if you leave this card on top for too long, and then what you do is you can riffle down, or waterfall, or whatever you call it, riffle down the deck just like that, or you can riffle it down the same way you did with the blue ones, or sorry, not that way. Riffle it down like that, and you can show them that they're all queens. My personal favorite method is right up here. It looks really cool. They say, okay, well, it would have turned the entire deck into key cards. And they say, okay, well, that's not very practical. And I pretend to brush it aside and say, and now it's a normal deck of cards. So I brush it aside, and I say, okay, well, that wouldn't be practical. So instead, I'll stick to my normal deck of cards. And except for your 1 blue card, your 2 of diamonds, I'll stick to my red deck. And that's the entire trick.